Oh, hey there. I'm a DIY track guy, and this is my humble garage. Today is Miata Accessory Belts Day. But full and fair disclosure, I'm hopelessly overconfident and dangerously underqualified, so everything from this point on is mostly useless. So my epic story here is that I went for a short drive, I pulled into my garage, and as I was getting out I noticed a faint rubber burning smell. Popped the hood, checked the condition of my accessory belts here, and they are very dried, cracked, and old. Take a look at that alternator belt there. It is very dry, and it looks like it has some wear on the side of the belt. The power steering belt doesn't look as bad, but it's probably worth just changing both of them at the same time. So I have purchased two of Rock Auto's finest accessory belts for a Miata. The plan is to get these two installed as quickly as possible. We'll make room by removing the intake here, the crossover pipe, and we'll loosen up the belts, get them off, get these guys on so that we can drive the car again. Hopefully this is an easy one. So, a little bit of a fail here. I can't get this half of the air crossover tube out because this rad hose is in the way. And I figure, why don't we just press on, see if we can't get the belts off. Anyway, here's our power steering. What I want to do is rotate the crank a little bit. Using a 21mm socket on the crank bolt, I've been able to turn it counterclockwise so that I can get at that nut there. So this nut appears to be a 14 mil. Move this, yeah, like that. And then this slides off very easily. So let's just double check that these are the same length, and it appears to be so. Okay, next thing. We need to take off the alternator belt. And to do so, we're actually going to need to take off the splash guard underneath the car to gain access to a bolt there. 14mm wrench on the nut here, 14mm socket on the bolt side here, the hex bolt. Let's see if we can turn it. And now that's loose. We will loosen these bolts and hopefully that will free the alternator so that we can rotate it. Had to use a breaker bar. This is the tension adjustment bolt. I just backed this off another 12mm, and then we rotate this guy up here and we can just get it clear of this bracket, and then we can go ahead and rotate the alternator to my right to loosen the tension on this belt. And you see how the belt is now very loose. While we're here, why don't we just check the pulley of the alternator to see if there's any play. So just trying to push it back and forth. Let's check the bearing. I'm not super concerned about that hissing. It could be a wear item in future and I'll need to replace it. And this is the old belt. So look at the state of this, but it is definitely on its last legs. So let's check the size. Let's see if we can't slip this on and get this thing tightened up. Okay, we have the new belt for the alternator on the water pump pulley here. Goes down to the crank pulley on the back of the pulley here, and then comes around onto the alternator itself here. Let's adjust the tension on the alternator. Tighten up the bolt at the back here. torque that to 30 foot-pounds, the top alternator bolt. Now that that's locked down, let's torque this guy to 19 foot-pounds. And then let's go underneath and 30 foot-pounds on the lower bolt. Let's get this Continental power steering belt on. What we got here is the tension adjustment bolt. It is threaded through this block, which this block is in turn threaded through the power steering bracket. So we've left this slightly loose so that we can turn this adjustment bolt and get it tightened. So that's about as tight as I want to get it. Try to rotate this guy 90 degrees. There's a bit of tension trying to get it past 90 degrees. So I'm just going to call it good for now. So this tube here, which attaches to the airbox here, needs to be fully seated in there. Okay, it seems that we have our alternator belt and power steering belt tensioned properly. The smell of burning rubber is now gone. There's no squeaking, there's no screaming. So far, things look like they're okay. So before I get carbon monoxide poisoning, I'm gonna turn off the car. So I'm pretty happy with this, that the tension has been adjusted what seems to be properly. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this for a test drive. I'm gonna drive it for a while actually, and see if there's any kind of noise or anything that's concerning here, and if required, I will adjust the tension on the alternator and the power steering accordingly. This was a super easy one. Anyone can do it. If you hear screaming from underneath your hood, smell burning rubber, and the condition of your belts look like the surface of the moon, you may want to change your belts as well. That's it from the Mostly Useless Garage. Take care of yourselves and the ones that you love. You keep being awesome. I'll keep being useless. Thank you so much for watching. Wait, producer?
Yes? What seems to be the problem?
What is this thing here?
I don't really know.
This kind of unprofessionalism is why we do not have any subscribers.
I think you're right.